Hi, Chairwoman Gim and Council Member Quinones Sanchez and members of the committees on children and youth and education. My name is Anna Perng. I'm the co-founder of the Chinatown Disability Advocacy Project. I'm a district parent and chair the Education Committee for the Mayor's Commission on People with Disabilities. Thanks to the advocacy of the Teachers Union, elected leaders such as Councilmembers Gim and Brooks, families, advocates, and teachers and staff who serve students will get vaccinated. The district has now pledged to provide PPE and rapid testing. Despite these victories, which will benefit everyone, people commenting on social media have accused our teachers union and advocates of being anti-science, emotional, lazy, and opportunistic for calling attention to longstanding, unsafe school learning conditions. I want to share with you a snapshot of what these conditions are like. In December 2019, I testified to the Philadelphia Board of Education about conditions at my son's school, Stephen Girard Elementary. At Girard, just 3 rooms have air conditioners. One of them is the library, and that's only because the books began to get moldy from humidity. The school used box fans for cooling, and at back to school night, my son's teacher gave me a class schedule which listed cool down as a 20-minute scheduled activity. The teacher explained that the school gets so hot, the autistic kindergartners must be taken to a conference room where they literally cool down. The fact that my son and his peers and his teacher missed 20 minutes of instructional time every day to literally cool off is unacceptable. Well, Girard never received the updated electrical wiring to enable a modern HVAC system to be installed. And when it was time for families to select hybrid or remote learning options, our ventilation reports were not completed. School team members had no information about mitigation strategies for our students who are simply unable to wear masks or social distance. Now, the Philadelphia Department of Public Health has data on neighborhoods and zip codes with the highest incidence of COVID-19 disease and death during the pandemic. Girard is in one of those zip codes, 19145. So when Black, brown, and disabled adults and students are more likely to die from COVID than others, context does matter, and we must use all the data available to work towards equitable and safe school reopening. Dr. Haidt has stated that students with complex needs learn best in person. There's no question that remote learning has been difficult for historically excluded students. After schools closed due to the pandemic, the Mayor's Commission on People with Disabilities, in partnership with the Mayor's Commission on Asian Pacific American Affairs and the Mayor's Commission on African Caribbean Affairs, convened a town hall on educational equity, where we heard from students and families about their challenges with remote learning. Students with disabilities who normally receive one-to-one aids could not get them in person. Essential worker parents had to serve as their students' aides. Speech and language pathologists and other related service providers had sprawling caseloads of 60 students. English learner students and families could not understand changing learning platforms and English-only school documents, and they reported receiving less synchronous instruction than schools with more white students. Parents with disabilities did not know how to make reasonable modification requests, as the district hasn't articulated its ADA policies beyond requesting ASL interpretation. These problems persist. Students with disabilities and families are told that there's simply no data available about their students' progress, or in some cases, they're told that the data shows their students did better than ever under these conditions. Worse, we're hearing from families that they are being marked truant and reported to DHS, which puts families of color at risk of family separation and the school-to-prison pipeline. Although remote learning has had its pitfalls, it is troubling to see students with complex needs used as a wedge between teachers and families. We should all question why students with complex needs must return to potentially unsafe learning conditions and risk exposure to the virus in order to receive the same educational opportunities as other students who can choose to remain fully virtual and safe from the same risks. Is this equity? What is the district doing to improve and individualize learning for students with disabilities and other groups? While federal funding may address COVID-specific issues, it is vital that we work together to address longstanding equity issues, which do stem from systemic racism and ableism. And instead of gaslighting school communities, I ask health leaders, elected officials, nonprofit leaders, and other experts to center the school communities closest to the problems, including those families and advocates, and amplify our demands for a more transparent process and plan to create equitable capital investments across our district. Thank you.